Hello everyone, tonight on the program, a new boss for the National Petroleum Authority. President Akufo-Addo appoints the man you're seeing in your shots, Dr. Mustapha Hamid, to replace Hassan Tampuli. We look forward to the work cut out for him. Also coming up, Bank of Ghana indicates plan to buy record gold from local market over the next 5 years.
This is one of the key reforms that we set to do for ourselves since about a year and a half ago. We were looking for a way to buy gold domestically and be able to convert it into a foreign asset. And the way we are able to do that is because we are paying in cedis. If we're not paying in cedis, then we might as well just buy the gold from anywhere.
And we're getting reaction from banks to the recent directive by the Bank of Ghana abolishing over-the-counter withdrawal charges.
You charge a fee for customers coming into the branch to withdraw cash where they have an avenue external to the bank. So it's not so much a fee to collect income, but it's a disincentive fee to change the behavior to use electronic.
This is Business Live. My name is Daryl Kwao. Thanks for joining us. We will be right back. Welcome back. We are going to be talking about Brent crude, which is hitting almost $75 a barrel in a bit. First, this news: President Akufo-Addo has appointed Dr. Mustapha Abdul Hamid as Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority. Now, this ends months of speculations linking him to one of the most prestigious state-owned enterprises in Ghana. We've got infographic to show you. His appointment takes effect from the 1st of July 2021. In a letter dated 17th of June 2021, Dr. Abdul Hamid has been charged to champion the vision and mission of the NPA, which is to regulate, oversee, and monitor the petroleum downstream industry in Ghana for efficiency, growth, and stakeholder satisfaction. He is expected to reposition the downstream petroleum regulator in order to address the huge revenue leakages in the sector. He's taken over from Hassan Tampuli, who is now the Member of Parliament for Gushegu in the Northern Region. Dr. Hamid served as a spokesperson to then candidate Akufo-Addo from 2008 until 2017, when he became the Information Minister and Presidential Spokesperson. Prior to that, he served as the Executive Director of the Dankwa Institute and a lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. So there you go. Mustapha Hamid is NPA boss. Well, joining me to discuss this, Dr. Yusuf Suleiman, who is an energy expert. He joins us with some reaction. Great to have you on the program tonight. So what do you make of the choice of Dr. Mustapha Hamid as the new boss of the NPA?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Daryl, and good evening to you and your cherished viewers. Yeah, I think it's a welcoming news in the first place, because this is a very crucial institution that is key to the nation's energy security. NPA plays, vital role in the downstream sector. In fact, they are in charge of regulating the entire downstream sector. And if you look at, in the whole oil and gas or petroleum industry, we have the downstream and then the upstream, of course, the midstream. But our case, I think the downstream and then the midstream are almost, combined together. And so the expectation is that, there are a lot of challenges that are currently, there in the downstream that we hope that Mustapha Hamid, Dr. Hamid will be able to champion. I know we are learning that, he is an embodiment of honesty and integrity. And so this is another, scarce commodity, that leadership requires, every institution requires. And so if he's able to, instill this embodiment into into the very body and the very fabric of these critical institutions such as NPA, I think it will be a better place to be. Now, the expectation is that
Yeah, I was going to say that I bet one of the things stakeholders would expect is for him to do something about the levies on petroleum products. What, in your perspective, should we expect or should be his work when he takes over on the 1st of July?
So I think clearly what I expect from Dr. Hamid is a very good collaborative, working relationship with the key stakeholders. Fortunately, the downstream industry or sector is already very well organized, if I may say. And so well organized to the extent that there are key leadership within the downstream, with Association of Oil Marketing Companies championing part of the PSPs, that is petroleum service providers. We have CIBOG, championing the, BDCs. And then we have COPEC also championing, the consumer arm of it. And so with this kind of, very good arrangement, I think what Dr. Hamid needs to do is to have a very good collaborative, and a very collaborative working relationship with these bodies. If he does that, and I think it will make his work easier. Now, going forward, I'm looking forward to seeing that Dr. Hamid should be able to champion 3 key areas that embodies energy security so far as the downstream is concerned. Energy security has 3, or fuel security, if I may put it that way, has 3 components. That is, we can talk about fuel affordability, fuel dependability, and then the quality of fuel. Fuel affordability or availability or dependability or quality, they are all coming together to make up, a fuel security of the downstream sector. So going forward, I think there are a lot he can do. Availability, we are already guaranteed, I think, over the years, even though we are heavily dependent on importation. But I think NPA and players have been able to guarantee the nation's consistent and regular supply. However, is it affordable? That is a question that we need to ask. Is it coming at the right quality? That is a question that we need to ask. So the affordability aspect, what we expect, NPA to do is to plug leakages. Because if you look at, the leakages and seepages within the downstream, that is actually why we have a lot of taxes that we don't see the impact of that. Assuming we are able to plug these leakages and then we are able to take out some of the taxes that we have on petroleum products at the downstream, I think petroleum product will come at affordable rate to the poor consumer. And then the quality also, I think they need to harmonize, work with other stakeholders like Ghana Standard Board and key stakeholders to make sure that, we harmonize fuel quality. And so these 3 areas that I expect Mustafa Ali, Dr. Hamid, to champion. And if he's able to champion that successfully, I think, he should be able to succeed. Yeah.
Well, that said, we want to take some time to talk about what's happening on the markets, the oil market right now. The bullish momentum we're seeing with Brent crude hitting almost $75 a barrel. What is happening?
Yeah, so just before I come to that place, one thing I want to add also about the downstream, which is very critical, that nearly keep my mind, is the issue of petroleum product safety. I think over the years, NPA, they have done well. I expect, the boss of NPA, Dr. Hamid, to consolidate those gains that they made in terms of the safety of petroleum product to the poor consumer and to the Ghanaian public. I think that is key. Yeah, so yes, we are having serious bullish momentum, as you rightly, explain it. And the reason being that the market is heating up. As much as renewables are gaining momentum, the world of hydrocarbon is not also leaving it free. It's also gaining even bigger momentum. As we speak now, Brent is almost selling around 75 because 74.9, that's about 75. And there's an expectation that Goldman Sachs is predicting that we may get it around 80. And some are even bullish to the extent that we could get it around 100. Now, what is accountable for this, Darrell? It is the international dynamics, typically. 3 things are holding this as we speak now. First of all, is the vaccines. Vaccines are becoming promising, and then the pockets of lockdowns are being liberated. And so we have the Asian economies, that is China, and then now US and UK in the European world, they are opening up. So that quantum leap in the demand component of the chain is trying to overcome supply. And so if nothing is done, I think we're going to have a lot of these prices going up. Now, the other component that is holding this price, the third component that I mentioned, that is apart from China and then the vaccines rollout that is resulting in this kind of pockets of lockdown being released, is the OPEC cuts. And that is the key wild card here, Darrell. OPEC has now taken control of the market, undoubtedly. And so now the market is now under at the mercy of OPEC. So OPEC is going to meet 1st of July. Now, if OPEC agrees to release some barrels into the market, then we are expected to see the prices going down. Other than that, as long as OPEC is still lackadaisical in terms of, releasing these barrels into the market, as we speak now, we still have about 6% of global consumption. That is about 6 million, barrels of crude being held by OPEC. And their reason is that they are trying to still make sure that the market is strong enough, to capture that. But I think it is clear that the market is now getting, resilient to be able to take this. So we expect that OPEC should be able to release these barrels into the market. And if they do, we expect this price to stabilize. Other than that, if the demand is able to overcome supply and the supply is not able to match the demand, don't expect us to hit 80 and above by the end of the year.
We have seen the impact locally, the repercussions on consuming nations like Ghana. Over the weekend, prices of fuel products went up. My final question, if you could do it in a minute because you're running out of time, what would it take to cool down the market?
What will it take to cool down is easy. OPEC to open the taps, that is all. OPEC has to open the taps. If they open the taps 1st July, if they agree symbolically to open taps, I think the market will cool down. And then downstream, the repercussions are clear, and that is why that is what we are already seeing, playing out. Our part, we are clearly dependent on importation. About 80 to 90% is imported, and this importation is paid on what is currently prevailing in the global market. And so, as long as the oil prices are taking bullish turn, we expect the effect to trickle down at the pumps. And so, it's not surprising that we have a price going up at the pumps. And so, I think we need to just make sure that we plug the leakages, take out some taxes, reactivate some component within the price build-up that should be able to cushion the poor consumer. Other than that, we are yet to see higher prices if nothing is done.
Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Suleiman Yusuf, for your perspective on the issues that we have discussed. Grateful. Hope to speak to you another time. While switching from oil to gold, another commodity of interest to us here in Ghana, the Bank of Ghana has indicated it is planning to buy record gold from the local market over the next 5 years. It is looking to buy about 17.4 metric tons during this period, a move that could see the country have sustained reserves. Now, the last time that Ghana increased its reserve was in 1962. Stephen Opata is head of financial markets at the Bank of Ghana.
This is one of the key reforms that we set to do for ourselves since about a year and a half ago. We were looking for a way to buy gold domestically and be able to convert it into a foreign asset. And the way we are able to do that is because we are paying in cedis. If we're not paying in cedis, then we might as well just buy the gold from anywhere else. So that's the key to this, that we have people who will sell us gold and we can pay in cedis. So then effectively we can use a domestic resource to build a foreign asset. So it's very significant. It's very significant, but of course this should be supported by other monetary policy indicators that we are looking at. Like, for example, we want to make sure that we are going to pay by cedis. So the quantum of cedis that you are using to buy this gold can go outside this. It can go into the system. So you have to mop it. Right? So this cannot just be done in isolation. It has to be done with other policy measures that we are looking at. We haven't built up gold reserves for a long time. I think the report that we've been looking at, I think it's since 1962. We haven't added to our gold reserves. So this is significant.
Why that long?
I mean, well, you should be asking maybe some historians and so forth. But what I can tell you is that we have noted that maybe it's about time we did that, because if you can buy the gold in cedis, then it's easier for you to build your gold reserves that way. And then our strategy is that we are going to use those gold assets to leverage for other forms of financing when needed. So I am very, very optimistic about this program, because it means that we are able to do cheaper sources of foreign exchange financing. For now, we want to double our gold reserves in 5 years. So currently our gold reserves is 8.77 tons. In 5 years, we want it to be 17.4 tons. So that's quite significant.
Since 1962, what were we waiting for? Makes you wonder. Well, let's turn attention to other stories. The World Bank has disclosed that it has finalized work on Ghana's debt sustainability analysis report. This is more of an assessment as to whether the country has reached a stage where it could struggle to pay its debts on time. Georgia Faye has details.
The debt sustainability analysis is done by the World Bank and the IMF to establish the ability of a member country to pay back its debt on time. Call it a stress test, and you might not be wrong. The exercise looks at the country's ability to meet its debt obligations when they are hit by some challenges that affect its revenue. It assesses each country on some 7 indicators. Key among them is whether, in the case of Ghana, we are raising enough revenue to service our debt. The debt sustainability analysis has become important following the transmission from a developing country to a low middle income status. Ghana's debt stock has reached 305 billion Ghana cedis ending March this year. The country is now classified as high risk of debt distress at its last review by the IMF and the World Bank. And there are fears that with our situation getting worse, Ghana could soon drop into that category after the review is completed. But government, on the other hand, has argued that despite the spike in the debt stock, which was related to COVID-19 expenditure and the banking sector cleanup, it believes that it has done enough to ensure that Ghana doesn't get into that bracket of a debt-distressed country. Also, the expansion of the economy and revenue picking up strongly, it expects the situation to improve in the coming months. Getting into that bracket of a debt-distressed country might not be good for Ghana's cost of borrowing and even private businesses in Ghana.
Well, meanwhile, World Bank Country Director Pierre Laporte tells Joy Business the bank is worried about Ghana's rising debt stock. He has also been speaking about ongoing work on the debt sustainability analysis.
Has reached about 78% the GDP ratio. Yes, it's going on the high side. Ghana, we've said, is a country at risk of high risk of debt distress. But we know it also happened. It was exacerbated by COVID. Before COVID, the ratio was well below 70%. So, yeah, I mean, government has to come back down to the lower deficit level as soon as possible. We know that the fiscal responsibility law was suspended, rightly so. I would have done the same, But as soon as government can come through a lower deficit level, it can start repaying some of the debt. The faster the economy can grow will also help the situation. So, and more stability in terms of commodity prices worldwide will also help cushion against shocks. Revenue is not enough. 12% debt GDP ratio is not good enough for Ghana. I mean, the minister is aware. We discuss all the time. He's recently put in place some measures to raise some revenues, but we believe there are areas like widespread exemptions that the government needs to tackle, and more efficient collection, like through digitalization and other means, should help that.
On our debt sustainability analysis, when are we up for review?
Actually, there's one underway now. It will come out very soon. The bank and the IMF are just finalizing the assumptions and the last picking up the data.
Looking good for us?
No, but it will not say very much different from what it is now. I mean, the situation is not going to be much worse, and we all know now. So,
growth projections optimistic?
Yeah, we've seen Ghana seem to be growing faster than the rest of the region and faster than predicted. We're predicting about 4.5% as early as this year and over the medium term.
All right, so that was Pierre Laporte there. We are looking forward to the outcome of the assessment made You're watching Business Live. Ahead, we'll get reaction from banks to the recent directive by the Bank of Ghana abolishing over-the-counter withdrawal charges.
Charge a fee for customers coming into the branch to withdraw cash where they have an avenue external to the bank. So it's not so much a fee to collect income, but it's a disincentive fee to change the behavior to use electronic.
Details after this break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Now, some commercial banks are raising concerns about the Bank of Ghana's directive to put an end to over-the-counter withdrawal charges. The central bank recently issued a notice to banks and specialized deposit-taking institutions to abolish what it calls unfair fees, charges, and other practices in the banking sector. But in an interview with Joy Business at a digital conference organized by his outfit, Managing Director of Republic Bank, Ghana, Farid Anta, said the over-the-counter withdrawal charge was meant to serve as disincentive for customers to use the ATMs. Bismarck Awusa has more.
The over-the-counter withdrawal fee is one of 7 charges the central bank has warned commercial banks to do away with. The Bank of Ghana noted that some banks and specialized deposit-taking institutions impose penal charges on customers who withdraw their own funds from banking halls. A reason Managing Director of Republic Bank attributed to the practice was to encourage customers to use digital platforms provided to reduce congestion at the banking halls.
By and large, they're not unreasonable in terms of what the Bank of Ghana's stance is. There may be some definition and what these unfair charges are, what is a maintenance fee, etc. The one that may be a little bit problematic for the banks is I think we do it, some other banks do it. You charge a fee for customers coming into the branch to withdraw cash where they have an avenue external to the bank. So it's not so much a fee to collect income, but it's a disincentive fee to change the behavior to use electronic, which is the ultimate goal. But in understanding that a lot of the customers who are caught in that are at the lower end of the market, it may seem a bit disadvantageous to them. So we will adjust, but the goal of changing the behavior and moving people to digital and electronic channels will remain. We just have to do it in a different form.
The digital conference jointly organized by the bank and the Business and Financial Times was themed Digitization, Artificial Intelligence and the Future of Things, the Impact and Immense Opportunities for Ghanaian Businesses. Mr. Anta has underscored the need for Ghanaian businesses to take advantage of the opportunities provided by the African Continental Free Trade Area through the adoption of technology to expand their operations.
And well, that's our program tonight. Thanks for watching, everyone. There's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. The news continues after this.